Hi there. In this Microsoft Word video, I'm going to take a quick look at using styles in a long document. So I'm going to quickly open up Microsoft Word. Again, I have a shortcut on my taskbar. And when I do that, it asks me if I want to create a blank document. I'll say yes. And I'm just going to zoom to page width so I can see everything. Now I'm going to copy and paste a bunch of text for 3 separate articles. So I've shared this via the LMS. It's in the usual spot. I've saved it in the usual spot. Demonstration content, and this is the content that we'll use for all of lesson 3, which is Microsoft Word session 2. So I'm going to select the entire thing. Edit, select all. Notice Control A also works. Edit copy. Control C also works. And I'm done with this, so I'm going to close it. Done with my file explorer, so I'm going to close that, and I'll choose the little triangle below paste, and I'm just going to paste text only, so none of the formatting. Now this is something we looked at in a previous lesson. If you scroll through, you'll see that there's areas where there's a lot of white space, and that's because if I just click on my show hide here, you'll see there's 2 paragraph marks. Again, we always want just one for each paragraph. You should never have more than one. These ones were added to add additional white space. Again, you don't want to add content to format. White space is formatting. So I'm just going to choose replace. I'm going to go more, special, paragraph mark, special paragraph mark. So that'll find all of the places there's 2, and it'll replace them with 1 paragraph mark. And I'll choose replace all, and it removed 8 of those for me, so I didn't have to scroll through the document. Oh, there's one extra one there. I didn't have to scroll through the document and find them all and then select them and delete them, and so it saved me a lot of clicks. Now imagine this document was 200 or 300 pages long. Oh, look, there's a spelling error. So again, a quick way to deal with a spelling error is to right click and choose that. Alright, so let's take a look at styles. So if you look at this document, we have an article called 18 Ways to Reuse Plastic Bags. It's got a bunch of subsections or some subheadings. And then we come to another article with a title. So basically there's a title for each article, and then there's subsections with a subheading. Third article here. So what I'm going to do is basically define the structure of the document as well as apply some formatting to the document via styles. So let me just quickly add all of the level 1 styles, which are titles, and then the level 2 styles, which are subsections or subheadings. So I'm going to click on 18 Ways to Reuse Plastic Bags, and this is paragraph formatting, so you just have to click anywhere inside of there, and I'm going to choose heading 1 for that one. That's my highest level of heading, so the title of the article. Then I'm going to click on Dirty Clothes and choose heading 2. We're not concerned with the appearance of this stuff yet. We can change that at any time, but we just want to basically apply those headings and let the document know, or let the application know where those headings reside in the document. So it's basically, you can think of this as kind of tagging content as a particular thing, or giving it a name. So I'm going to call that heading 2. Now there's a quick way to do this. If we click on Fuse it, I can hit F4 on my keyboard. F4 is a redo key. So that'll basically do the same thing we did last which was apply a level 2 heading to some selected text. So you see I click F4 and that selects, it makes that the level 2 heading. So I'm just going to click through and choose F4 on my keyboard to quickly add those headings. So now I'm at the end of my first article. Now I'm at the end of my first article, so I want to make this a level 1 heading. So again, I could just select that and then choose level 1. But a shortcut key is Control Alt 1, number 1. Control Alt number 1 also makes a level 1 heading. Control Alt 2 makes a level 2 heading. So again, I'm just going to select each one of these and hit F4 to redo the last thing that I did. I'm just hitting F4 until I have all of my headings defined, all of the places. Oh, I think I missed an H1, heading level 1. I say H1 because that's the name that's given to heading 1s in HTML. I also teach HTML, so I'll call heading 1s H1s, which is fine. I'm just going to scroll up until I find, there we go. This should be a level 1 heading, so I'll click back on that one and I'll choose heading 1 or Control Alt 1. Now I'm just going to turn off my show hides. I don't need to see those anymore. I've already added all of, or removed all of my extra paragraphs. So let's take a look at how we change those styles we've applied. So one thing about body text, so if I click anywhere in this text here, you'll notice that this little box gets created around the normal style. If I click on heading 1, the box is created around the heading 1. So it shows, this little window shows us, indicates what style is used on that selected paragraph. Now on this normal, what I like to do is generally the line spacing I use for online documents or anything that I anticipate somebody will read on the screen, I like to add a bit more white space in my paragraphs, within my paragraphs, so between the lines of the paragraph. So I always like to crank that up to 1.5. So we could go and do this individually, right? But again, this is a long document. Imagine if it was even longer, 100 pages. We'd have to go down and select every single paragraph and change that to 1.5. We already have these headings defined, so you'd actually have to select those two, go 1.5, go to the next heading. So instead, what I'll do, I'm just going to remove that. I'll just undo it. Instead, what I'll do is I'll click on this little button here. This is the Styles options. And that pops up a little floating panel here. Right now, normal selected because that's where my text, that's what text I have selected. So if my cursor's blinking in some normal text, so I have a little box around it. If I click in my heading 1, you see it pops over, or my heading 2 pops over. So I want to click in my normal, and then if you just mouse over that selected style there, there's a little drop down. And now I go to modify. So it's kind of like the toad in the hole, in the log, in the swamp, in the middle of the forest, right? We have to select our styles and then select the style that we want to change, then click on the drop down and then click on modify. So it's a lot like that little rhyme. And I'm just going to go to Format, Paragraph, and then line spacing 1.5. And OK. And OK. And now you notice all of the places that we did not apply heading 1 or heading 2 has now added more line spacing. We now have more white space within our paragraphs. So that's one of the things we can do. Of course, we can do basically everything that's available here and here is also available to modify in our fonts. in our styles, I should say. Now, one thing I want to do, notice it says 18 ways to reuse plastic bags. I'm going to number every single one of those heading 2s. Also, I'm going to change the color to a dark green. So, I'm going to click inside a heading 2. Let me just go to a place where we can see more of those. So you've got a whole bunch of them here. And I'm going to go to this little drop down here. Toggle the styles. Mouse over heading 2. Click on the drop down. Choose modify. And I'm going to make the color different. And I choose OK. And notice every single heading 2 throughout the document. Again, imagine the document's 1,000 pages long. And if you were modifying those without styles, you'd have to go to every single instance of a heading 2, or any place you wanted to make green, and make it green. We just had to choose one item here. Now, one other thing is I want to number these. So I'll choose modify. And format, numbering, and I'm going to choose this one here, and I choose OK, and I choose OK. So it's numbered every single one of my headings. In the past, we've used numbering, but all of our paragraphs were adjacent to each other. These paragraphs are not. They're separated by their content. Now let's quickly take a look at what happened. So notice here in our second article, restaurant menus got number 18. If I click on that and choose my numbering here, and I want to change set numbering value to be 1, and I choose OK, and I'll choose yes. So now it's 1. This is still 17, but now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stay healthy on vacation, 9. You want to change that as well. So in this situation, we're changing automatic numbering, and it's distinct of the actual style. Oh, looks like there's another error there. I'll just fix that. So that way we can number every single one of our headings. We can just apply numbering to the heading. If you can imagine how you would do that without styles, I can't even think of how you would do that. All right, so we changed we added numbering to level 2 heading, and we made it moss green. Now let's quickly do something with our level 1 heading. So you'll notice that when we get to our second article, the title is halfway through the page. Well, I want this article to start on its own page. But again, imagine that you have 100 level 1 headings in your document. If you wanted to put these all at the top of their own page manually, you have to click before each one and then insert a page break, which we'll look at later on. But I just want that to be automatic. So anytime a level 1 heading appears, I want it to start the page. I want it to have a page break before it. So I'm going to choose this little drop down here. Click on my drop down next to heading 1. Choose modify. And then under format, paragraph, line and page breaks, and we want to use page break before. Now notice this window orphan control. If you're wondering what that is, this means that no heading will be at the bottom of a page on its own. It always sticks with the content below it, and that's something that just comes with headings. And I'll choose OK, and I'll choose OK, and now you'll notice that each article begins on a new page. Be careful not to add a page break before our level 2 headings, otherwise those will all begin at the top of each page and we'll have way too many pages. So that's, well, actually let me just quickly show you one more thing about styles. So if I click on Find here, we get this little navigation pane that pops up. Now if I click on Headings, it'll show you all of the headings in a document. So if you need to jump to a section, you can just click on that section and you can navigate. So that's something else that is useful with headings. Now let me just quickly show you one other thing. You'll notice that all of these level 2 headings are indented. I don't really like that. I want them to be over on the margin. So if I just move this, we can actually modify these headings distinct from each other. So notice it's different than the rest. But now if I go to heading 2 and I click on the little drop down, notice we have this update heading 2 to match selection. I'm just going to choose that. Now they all went over. So that's another way you can modify it as well. You can make an edit to the distinct heading that you're looking at and then just use that option. So a couple of different ways to do the same thing. I'm just going to make sure there's numbering has remained. Oh, look at that. This one is still. So that's basically styles in a nutshell. You can quickly apply styles by using the styles section of the home ribbon, or you can use Control-Alt with the heading number, and to repeat something you've done to another selection you can use F4. Thanks so much for watching.